Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Autumn Ambrose and today I am building a 1950s terraced home for my series of houses through the ages. Now, when I was first looking up a 1950s home just to see what type of home I should be building, because I would like to be as accurate as I can possibly be, I first stumbled upon an article online talking about a 1950s terraced home. In this article, they showed me an architectural drawing by the looks of things, and so I decided to look a little bit further into a 1950s terraced home, and that is where I stumbled upon another online article. This time it was a newspaper article telling us all about what it was to live in the 1950s and what the houses look like. Now, in this newspaper article, it showed me a black and white photograph of a 1950s terraced home, and looking at this architectural drawing and this photograph, ooh, they look very similar. I think some of the houses, whenever we go to the park, those houses down that road, may be a 1950s terraced home, which was perfect because that then gave me another source to look at and to draw inspiration from when building this home. But when I was building this, I was mainly focusing on the black and white picture that I found with the Sun Online newspaper article. In the 1950s, other homes also popped up, including high-rise flats. There was no way in hell that I was building a high-rise flat, building an enormous tall building and just decorating one of these units for my houses for the 80s series. Honey, I ain't doing it. But thankfully for me, in The Sims 4, we can only build up to 4 levels, thank goodness. So during the 1950s, there were many older houses that were being demolished, so to make way for newer housing like this one here. During the 1950s, more than 2 million homes were built, and 2/3 of these were local 40 housing, which makes sense because whenever we go to the park and park our car down that road with these 1950s terrace houses, my mum always tells me that ex-council homes. I don't know why she keeps bringing it up, but she does. I don't know if it's because along the same road that these houses are built on the opposite side of the road, are really big houses. It's very confusing, but there we are. So by the mid to late 1950s, a more modern consumer society formed. That just basically means that society now favoured more modern looking homes, less furniture. So for example, stairs with slats in them, so like gaps in between the stairs. In the dining room, you do see this more modern looking dining room because I found a video on YouTube talking about the more modern furniture in the house, and it basically showed you these rooms because it's more of like a showroom that was just showing you off the modern furniture. And so because I was very confused during the interior design of this home, I decided to go along for that dining room. So we do have more of a later interior look. Also during the 1950s, there was a growth in car ownership, and so households were looking for homes. They were looking for homes that had garages on the same lot or nearby. Also during the 1950s, rationing only ceased in 1954. So at the back of these homes, I only decorate only one of these homes that I'm building, because at the moment I'm building 2 homes. I'm only decorating the left one. So in the house that I do decorate at the back, I do pop down some planters, so perhaps they could grow some fruit and veggies to supplement the rationing. Yeah, so I am building a 1950s home, and like I said, throughout the interior of this build, I had no clue as to what I was doing. I was stumbling around blind, hoping and praying what I was building was a 1950s British interior. Because when I say 1950s, what pops in your mind? For me, it is American diners, Grease the musical, cherries, cherry pie, pinks, aqua blues, pastel colours, all very vibrant and happy and woo, yeah! But all of what I have said they have one thing in common, and that is America. I'm trying to build a 1950 British home with a British interior, and whenever I try to look up anything that had to do with a British furniture or interior design, I was really fighting against the 1950s American interior design and interior furnishing. And it was so hard to decorate this house because wherever I looked, there was a 1950s interior, there was a 1950s American interior design. And it was like looking for a needle in a haystack. And the needle was the 1950s British interior design, and the hay was the 1950s American interior design. And as soon as I got upstairs to do the bathroom and the bedrooms to this place, I just couldn't do it anymore. I was a broken person. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't work against the crowd. I had to just go with it and go with a 1950s American design because it was really difficult and I had enough. It broke me, this house, this interior design, it broke me. I had enough. This is supposed to be a fun, this is supposed to be like a fun series where I learn something new on the way. It's not supposed to be stressful and annoying and a pain in the arse, but as I was decorating, it was slowly falling into those categories and I couldn't do it anymore. To be over. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to say sod it and go for the 1950s American design. So we are now inside. So the first floor is where I really tried my hardest trying to find a British interior design. And so the first floor of this house is a British 1950s design. Like I said, the dining room is more of a late 1950s design. The living room is perhaps more of a earlier 1950s design. The kitchen, I don't know, it appeared in the 1950s in Britain somewhere. That's all I know. So a 1950s British kitchen looks rather bland actually. It looks like it sucks the life out of yellow. I think because the yellow is not very saturated. It's very dull and it's very boring looking. And so, this is a 1950s British kitchen. It appeared somewhere through the 10 years of the 1950s. I don't know where. So during the 1950s, they liked mahogany wood. So mahogany wood popped up around the 1920s and the 1930s, and it stuck around the 1950s. Along with rosewood. So rosewood is more of like a reddish kind of looking wood, and in the 1950s they quite liked it. They also like tropical plants. So throughout this build I tried to implement some tropical plants. In the kitchen you can see we have a tropical plant that we got in the Get Famous pack. I do move that tropical plant in the kitchen to the dining room, and I do pop down a base game tropical plant in the kitchen instead of the one we have now. They also liked modern furniture with sliding doors. So like I said, that would probably turned up more into the 1950s with the sliding doors. So I do pop some sliding door furniture in the dining room. But when I do first visit the dining room, like I'm doing now, I had no clue. I was like, I don't know what they put in their dining rooms. I have no idea. But as I did some more research whilst doing this build, I discovered the video that was talking about and showing off all this furniture. And they showed off this modern furniture using some showrooms. And one of the modern furnishing that was showing off was a sideboard and sliding doors. They placed the sideboard in a dining, which was perfect. Like I said, I had no idea what a 1950s room looked like. And so, in fact, they were showing off a sideboard that was appearing in a dining room was perfect, because I then just decided to copy the showroom and have a slightly confusing downstairs because the kitchen and the living room, they kind of match up, whereas the dining room, it kind of stands out like a sore thumb. But I was like, whatever, I'm just going to go with it because I don't know what I'm doing really. So that's the dining room. I do go back, here we go, I'm going back to it because, like I said, I'm just following the showroom that they show off this sideboard with a sliding door. So for the sideboard, I decided to go for the Get Famous sideboard. It's not the right colour in any way, shape or form, but it has these sliding doors that I was looking for. So I just went for the style and not the colours, because those pops of colours are most definitely not 1950s, because the furniture that they were showing off was very basic, very simple, quite modern looking, but no pops of colours. And the wood colours that they tend to favour were the mahogany and rosewood that I've said. So for the living room, again, I had no idea what I was doing, and so I read some more articles about 1950s furniture. This article that I found was mainly talking about the people who made the furniture and where they started, not much about the furniture itself, which was annoying. But this article did show some pictures. One of these pictures that they showed was the television. Now, the television that they showed looked more like the eco lifestyle television. I don't have that, so I decided to go for the TV. And whilst they were showing off this 1950s telly, they also talked about the coronation, Queen Elizabeth II coronation. And I was like, of coronation, doy! And I was like, hungry, feed me! You know, from that episode in Doctor Who, where the Doctor and Rose go to 1950s Britain. They were aiming for America, but David Tennant got Britain instead. And the monster in that's called the Wire, and a lot of the episode takes place in the living room, which was perfect because it was showing the room again. I had no clue how to decorate, and so I then therefore said to myself, right, I'm gonna copy that living room and decorate it for build here. So this living room here is an exact replica of the living room that is showed in that episode of Doctor Who, and because I thought the set designers, they must have done their research of a 1950s of that time, so it was like, it has to be somewhat close to a living room of that time. So it's like, okay, let's go and do that then. Also here at the moment, I'm trying to find some like red, white and blue bunting, because in the Doctor Who episode it is seeing the coronation of Elizabeth II in 1953, and there is some bunting in the room, and so I'm just trying to find something that looked like it's bunting-esque and had those British colours. I couldn't really find anything those British colours, so I just ended up with what I put down. So I am trying to resize my curtains because of the windows that I has a shutter on them. I didn't want the shutter to be exposed on the outside because they weren't the windows that I was looking at when I was following the black and white photograph, but also I didn't want the shutters to be inside either. So to get around the shutters, I decided to cover up the shutters with some curtains. Because a lot of the curtains in the game don't fit half the windows that we have, I decided to use the tool mod to make my curtains fit my windows. I've been doing that a lot lately. Also, some of the curtains in the game are quite tall and of the shortest wall height, and so I had again used the tool mod to push my curtains into the floor, which is what I did with this coffee table. At the moment, I'm trying to find a coffee table that is simple, modern and basic in design, but also has either a mahogany or a rosewood colour. Now, the coffee tables that we have in the game are either very stylized or did not have the wood colour that I was looking for. So I instead went to the dining room section and went for a dining table, hoping that they had a simple design of the wood colour that I wanted. They did. It was just a little bit big, a little bit tall, so I just resized it and pushed it into the ground to create a a coffee table. And that is do quite a lot during this build, is using an item and repurposing it for something else. So at the moment I'm doing the pink bathroom. It seems like they are sticking to the pink bathroom. I think that also appeared in the 1920s and the 30s. I can't quite remember if pink bathrooms appeared in the 40s. But I think sooner or later we will be getting rid of the pink bathrooms and moving on to an avocado green bathroom for the 70s. So for one of the bedrooms, well, for all three bedrooms actually, they basically picked a colour and they went for it, and they went for it hard, because they painted the walls, the bed, the curtains, some of the furniture all in that one colour that they chose. So for the bedrooms, we have three bedrooms. One of them is a master bedroom, the other one is an teenager's bedroom, and the other one a kids bedroom. It's a twins kids bedroom because these rooms are quite big. I don't think the size of these rooms quite reflecting the true size of a 1950s terraced home, but we all know sizing is a little bit off in The Sims 4 to replicating a real life home, so mind that. Also because the windows that I'm using, they're kind of dictating the layout and where the walls go inside. A bit annoying, but whatever. Let's just go with the flow. So this is the blue bedroom, the master bedroom. It's quite big, like I said. And as I was looking at this blue bedroom, I think it was a Bassett poster bedroom. And as I was looking at it again, I was like, oh, yeah, this seems familiar. This seems like it. Yeah, this is like 1950s. Yeah, this seems right. Yeah. So for the 1950s blue bedroom, it's sort of kind of pincushion looking headboard. We didn't have anything similar in the bed design from the game, and it also had no like border at the end of the bed. So I went for the seasons bed and made my own head border using a sofa and just scaling it down again with the tool mod and kind of like mushing it into the seasons bed. As I was decorating these bedrooms, I really didn't care if it was usable for The Sims. I just really wanted for these bedrooms to actually look like a 1950s bed. Like I said, I had no what I was doing, and I was just hoping and praying the poster that I was looking at was actually in fact a 1950s poster. Everything that I was looking at said it was a 1950s poster, and it looked somewhat familiar to me as a 50s bedroom. So yeah, I just really wanted to make sure a 1950s bedroom. I didn't really care if it was usable or not. So again here, instead of using like an actual vanity desk that the game has given us, I decided to use a table once again because it had the material going over the table. And again, I used another dining table to create this little stool because again, it has like fabric going over the top of the base of it. So here on the other side of this very blue bedroom, it had to have something, and I didn't know what to put there, and so I put down the sliding door sideboard. I do change that to some cats and dogs bedside tables and put them together to make a more longer table, but I do that later on as I'm decorating the top level of this house. But I do move on to the teenage, which is the pink room. Throughout this entire build, as well as being absolutely clueless about what I should, decorate these rooms, like I was also clueless as to what type of pictures I should be putting in these rooms. It did occur to me to the gallery for some 1950s pictures, but like I said, I was broken by this point. I just wanted it to be over with, and so I was like, I just stick to the ones that we have in the game, like we have in the catalogue. So this as a teenager's bedroom. A lot of these 1950s American pictures that I was looking at had of, it was like a built-in unit that went across and over the bed. So I decided to do that. So I decided to use the Parenthood. I think it's a wardrobe that I'm using. It doesn't look like a wardrobe, but it is a wardrobe. To use the Parenthood wardrobe, smush it into the bed so I'm covering up the headboard. I know the drawers are like right by your head, but the picture I was looking at was actually drawers to the side, and then the open drawers is where your Sim's head would be. But we didn't have anything like that. I just went for the Parenthood ones. It was somewhat similar, and I was like, okay, let's go. I also went for the country living bed because it had that pattern. Thinking of going for the Seasons bed, but the Seasons bed was more of a peachy colour, more of a pinky colour. I wanted pink because, like I said, once they picked a colour, look for it. And so, and also I was just following the picture I was looking at. And the pictures that I was following was from Pinterest. So most likely American. So yeah, this is the teenager's bedroom. Oh yeah, once I found that the vases with the fruit in it, with the in it, I was like, I used it all over the place, basically upstairs. Because again, the 1950s, especially in America, they liked fruit. Fruit everywhere. Fruit on your curtains, fruit on your duvet covers. Flute everywhere, basically. So yeah, this is the teenager's bedroom. I do later put down some posters. I found a crown on it. I was like, I'm having that because, like I said, in 1953, Queen Elizabeth II had her coronation, and the first ever to be televised. And this year, Platinum Jubilee. I think it's 70 years since her coronation this year. So it's good timing on my part. Is the kids' bed. Once again, I'm using the Parenthood ward, smushing them into the headboard of the bed. Once again, I had to use the toolboard just to resize it. I had to lift it up a lot, so I had to make it look like it's sitting on the floor by using more of the Parenthood wardrobes, scaling them down and rotating. I also noticed that the picture that I was showing for this green bedroom had some round cushions, and so that's what I decided to do. I decided to pop some round cushions onto mine. Once again, I don't think this is usable. Although the bedroom with the sofa headboard, that does work. Your Sims can use that and sleep in the bed as usual. It's perfectly fine. But this is going to leave you. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I really do hope the 1950s build that I have built is somewhat in the ballpark of a 1950s build